Hi, Mystery Knox listeners. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Kim.
And I'm Mary.
And for today's episode, we're doing something a little bit different. So we decided to plug in our little bonus episode this week instead of doing a regular case. And we're going to tell you guys a little bit more about ourselves. And also, which is very exciting, we have accumulated many outtakes recording this podcast, and we are going to also include some of those in this episode.
Sophie, there you go. You asked, we're delivering.
There you go, Sophie. Yeah, it's kind of actually crazy how many outtakes we have with just having 4 episodes done, but there you go.
And we had to narrow it down.
Yes, we did.
As to not get too carried away.
That's true. But we will have another future episode. Not anytime soon, but eventually with more outtakes. So there you go. I know people love outtakes. I do.
Yeah.
I just think they're so funny. On TV shows, podcasts, anything. Outtakes are great. So there you go. That'll be today's episode, listeners. So if you don't really care about getting to know more about us, that's fine. You can just skip.
I don't blame you because,
yeah,
you're here for the mysteries and death.
There you go. You can just skip to the outtakes part and you don't need to know any more about us. But if you are interested, just keep on listening and we will get into it. Okay, Mary. So that takes us into our first question, which is how we met, where we met, and when did we meet? Dun, dun, dun. Well, we met actually in high school. You were a junior and I was a sophomore.
Yeah.
And so that's when we met. We met in high school. And there was this brick wall that I would always... It's kind of like where we would... Do you remember this, Mary? It's like where we would meet up, kind of. Like after school.
Brick wall.
Yeah, like right by the office. Or I guess it was part of the office building. Whatever.
Yeah, I think I do.
Like right in the front, like where the buses
that little
park.
Corner.
Yeah, that little corner.
Where everyone would just wait.
So,
yeah,
where everyone would wait. So we would always, sometimes we would meet there and talk before we left. But yeah, so that is when we met. We met in high school. Then we became really good friends. And we actually ended up, after high school, we ended up becoming roommates together. Not right away, but a couple years after high school. We ended up being roommates for 2.5 years or something?
I think so.
Yeah, it was quite a while.
It didn't seem that long, though, for some reason.
No, it didn't. That's because we're buddies and we were having the time of our lives.
But see, that's the funny part, though. It's like, we worked opposite schedules.
Yeah.
We hardly hung out, except for, I guess, the weekend.
The weekends when we had our weekends off.
Because I was thinking about that the other day. Where it's like, we lived together, but we didn't necessarily hang out as much as roommates would.
Right, because like you said, we were on separate schedules. So by the time I was home from work, you were basically leaving.
Yeah.
And then when you got home, I would usually be asleep. Or I would be somewhere else.
What was that?
Oh, that was Tyler. He sneezed.
Oh. He just wanted to make an appearance.
Exactly. He wanted to be in the podcast. So, and Tyler's my husband, for those that don't know. But yeah, so we lived together.
Should we tell the story about Miami? Was it Miami or Orlando? Orlando.
Oh my God. If you want to.
Since Tyler has his own little entrance there.
Yeah, you can tell it.
Oh, jeez. Jokingly, I always call Kim and Tyler my parents.
Adopted parents.
Adopted parents, obviously. And, what was it? We were in Orlando, going to the Harry Potter Wizarding World.
Yep.
And then we go to this restaurant, Uno. Is it Uno?
Yes. Oh, they have such good pizza, by the way.
So we're sitting there, waiting for the lady to come over and, find us a table. And I'm there looking at the artwork on the wall. Kim's just standing there, as she does. And Tyler, well, more alert than the rest of us. And the lady goes, 2 adults and 1 child? And mind you, I had a hoodie on. But when she said that, I put the hood down and I looked at her. I was like, what? And she's like, sorry, 3 adults.
She was so embarrassed.
And so Tyler's like, come, child.
Yeah, and so now it's just been a running joke that we always call Mary our adopted daughter, and she calls us her adopted parents.
And occasionally yell out, Father.
Yeah, Father.
But I blame the IT crowd for that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if anybody knows where that's from.
Oh, I blew it. However, if you haven't seen that show, you should watch it. I think it's on Netflix still?
I believe it is. It's hilarious. So yeah, our next question is, where do we currently reside, Mary?
Well, we are both... Well, I'm not originally from here, but I lived here the longest, which is New Mexico, and I think you moved here, I forgot when you were, right?
So I grew up in New Mexico, and I moved, I don't live in New Mexico anymore, now I live in Florida.
Yeah, because y'all suck now.
I know. Trust me.
I'm just kidding, Floridians.
Trust
Don't get all spongy on me.
Hey, and we have a few listeners in Florida too, so.
Hello there, friend. How are you?
But Mary, you do come and visit.
No, yeah. Well, because you guys are there, yeah.
Yeah, so Mary comes and visits usually once a year, but sometimes like every 2 years.
Yeah, it just depends.
It just depends, yeah.
Yeah.
But she'll come visit. She'll stay with us for a week. And, yeah, we'll go and, like, do photography, which also, by the way, both of us are photographers. We should probably throw that in there, too. Mary's been doing it longer than I have, but she kind of actually got me into photography. Mary's been doing photography since high school.
Yeah, I've always had the interest in photography. I think the whole documentation of it and travel aspect. But yeah, and then because you always had an eye for it too. And for years I was like, dude, just get a camera or even your phone. I don't know, whatever. Just whatever you have, because it's your eye. It's not necessarily the camera, but I mean, you first have that artistic eye for it, and that's what I kept telling you.
Yes, and so eventually Tyler actually gave me his old camera. He had an old camera. And one time, a couple years ago, I think when Mary was out here, she was like, let's go take pictures. And I'm like, okay. Grabbed the camera, and it kind of just went from there. So now we both have our own business and photography, and yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
So our next question is what we are currently reading, watching, and possibly what podcasts we're currently into.
Oh, that's a good one. I am currently reading the Witcher series. Mm-hmm. And the book I'm on now is The Time of Contempt, which I believe is book 4 in the series, and there's, I think, 7 books total. And I am also rereading the Harry Potter series as well. What about you?
Because we're both rereading.
Yeah, we're both rereading. Yeah, Harry Potter at the same time.
Yeah, although you finished yours before, like a freaking whiz kid. Like I'm not doing anything. No.
Come on, Mary, get on this.
No, yeah. I'll read like when I can, because I may be reading 4 books at the same time. And that's what I was saying earlier, where I initially was reading 4 books.
Yeah.
And I've since put a pause on it. I really want to finish, there's this one book called The Queen's Assassin, which it's kind of slow.
Okay. But good?
It has, like, potential. But it's not one of those where it's like, I can recommend, or I would recommend.
Okay. What's the other book you're reading?
Empire of Storms, which is part of the Throne of Glass series, which I recommend if you like murder and stuff.
So that's a good one.
There's other stuff in it, but yeah. Because I was zooming through those books.
Yeah, you were. I remember us talking about it.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, you have to read it.
Yeah. That'll be next on my list after I finish the Witcher series, which I do also recommend the Witcher series if you're into that stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then the other one that I was going to read the second one, but I'm going to reread the first, was Serpent and Dove, which is a really good book as well.
Okay.
Like the comic relief in that is very, like, underlining. Like, you're reading it and you just kind of start chuckling. I was like, oh, I like that. That was nice. That was a nice, like, little undertone that I didn't notice at the time, but now it's like, okay.
Ah, I like books like that.
Yeah. And, of course, the other one is Harry Potter, so.
Mm-hmm. And we are on, for the Harry Potter series, we have read this book the series so many times because it's one of our, or both of our favorite series, or one of the series that we both really love.
Yeah. I got you into it, I think.
Yeah. Funny story about Harry Potter. I was never going to read Harry Potter.
I remember for the longest time, we were in the library, I think. And I was like, you have to read this book. And you're like, no, I don't want to. And I was like, no, you have to read this book. It's good. And you're like, no. And I think you were reading, like, The Hobbit or something.
Probably, yeah.
Because you're like, no, I want to read this book. And I was like, okay, that's great. But when you're done with that,
you have to read Harry Potter.
I was like, I have it, and I'm offering it to you right now. And I normally don't lend out my books to anyone.
Yeah. You guys, she was, like, relentless. Like, she was like, you have to read Harry Potter. And I think I was, like, 17 when I was like, fine! I'll read the first book. I did not expect to like it, you guys. I did not expect to like it.
I think the first one took you longer to read. And then the next thing I know, you're like, hey, do you have that second book? And I was like, yeah. And the next thing I know, do you have the third book? What?
You're like, really? And I will say, the third book in the series is where I really started getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it really picked up for me, was the third book, The Prisoner of Azkaban.
Oh, yeah, no, same. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because that's when I think the more darker themes started emerging, which is what you expected.
So then when I got the third one and I read that, it just took off from there, and I read the whole series pretty quickly. But I do have to say one thing about Harry Potter. I have a bone to pick with somebody in my choir class. If you're listening to this. So this was in high school. I was reading the 5th Harry Potter book. So I'm sitting there in choir class, right? And I'm probably halfway done with the book. And a girl comes up to me, and I remember exactly who it was, but I'm not going to say her name. And she goes, oh, what are you reading? And I'm like, Harry Potter. And she goes, oh, which one? So I show her The Order of the Phoenix. And she goes, oh my God, wasn't it so sad when Sirius died?
Oh, spoiler alert for those that haven't read the book.
Oh, shit. Well, I mean, how long has it been out? Come on.
Well, there's those ignorant people. Come on.
Well, plus the movies are out, too. But
movies don't count.
But, you guys, I was so mad. I was like, well, first I was shocked. I was like, what? Because Sirius was one of my favorite characters. And then I got mad. And she's like, oh, you didn't know? And I'm like, no, this is the first time I'm reading this book. Moral of the story. If someone's reading a book that you've already read, don't give spoilers. You don't know if they've read the book before. Yeah, just not cool, man. Current watch. What's your current watch right now?
I really don't watch, like TV stuff. I don't. I just Netflix everything.
Yeah, I do the same. I mean, I can tell you what I'm watching right now, but it's old.
Yeah, because I think 2 of the shows I'm watching with you, which is The Office and Supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, The Crown is what I guess you could say I'm currently watching that one.
The Crown, okay. Yeah, so Tyler and I watched, I think, the first 2 seasons of that. And then we were waiting for the other season to come out, and we just, we haven't gone back to watch it again. So we'll have to do that, too. Because I think it's a good show.
Yeah, no, it is.
Well, like Mary said before, Mary and I are both rewatching The Office and Supernatural. Though, any Supernatural fans out there, I know it just ended. We have only seen, I think, up to season 8, I believe. We have a ways to go, Mary.
We're slacking.
I know. We're going to watch more tomorrow, though.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
Jelly beans.
Jelly beans.
Oh, I hate when people say it.
I know, but I say it all the time. Oh my God, you just reminded me, because Tyler and I just watched Office Space a couple nights ago. I love that movie. But remember in the movie where they go, have you ever heard someone say, you got a case of the Mondays? And then his neighbor goes, no, man. I think you'd get your ass kicked saying something like that.
The guy with the mullet, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's
Oh, his
great.
voice, too.
I know. It's like perfect. If you guys have not seen that movie, where have you been? So I'm actually rewatching. Well, okay. I'm currently watching Fear of the Walking Dead. Have you seen
See,
that
I
movie?
could never get into that show.
So it's not The Walking Dead, which is like the big, huge, popular one, which I also like. So I also love The Walking Dead, but I have to say, I stopped watching The Walking Dead after a certain character dies, and I'm not going to spoil it just in case. But you guys, I had to take a break. And that was like 2 years ago. And I just haven't gone back yet.
I think you're just better off at that point.
I think so. I'm sure I've missed a lot. But you know what? They took it too far. They took it too far. Just going to say that, okay? People who watch...
I could just see you just throwing stuff down. They took it too far. God damn it.
People who watch The Walking Dead, y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. What was our last... Oh, listen. What are you listening to right now?
I'm not really listening to... I mean, audiobooks, but not like podcast.
Well, I was thinking more...
I was listening to... Huh?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was listening to Crime Junkies for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really... Or like music-wise? Or
yeah, I was going to say, any
podcast,
music that you're listening to?
No. Yeah, it's weird. Like, I don't...
So no music
like a
you're
normal
listening
person.
to?
Yeah, like a
No
normal
podcast.
person. I don't really... Like, I'm not watching anything on TV. I just rely on Netflix.
Yeah, I do the same.
Or Disney or Prime, yeah. And then, listening, no. Like, I can't stand to listen to the radio. There's...
Oh, I don't listen to the radio. Yeah, like, what do you listen to on your way to work?
Yeah, an audiobook.
Okay, so you're basically on an audiobook fix right now. Or kick. So I'm listening to, I guess in terms of music, what I've been listening to recently is Taylor Swift's new album, Folklore. And let me just say, I was not a Taylor Swift fan.
I was gonna say.
So you've never really heard me talk about Taylor Swift before.
No.
Because I really have never listened to her before. I mean, I would listen to like a few of her songs, like here and there, you know? But I never had any of her albums. I was never a fan of hers. But when this new album that just came out, like what, a month ago or something? If that.
I don't even know.
Yeah, it was recent though. I was on YouTube and I just happened to come across one of the songs on there. I think it was Cardigan. And it started playing and I was like, oh my God, this sounds nothing like old Taylor Swift songs.
Yeah, because anything too poppy, I just can't.
Yeah, you and I have kind of like the same music preference. Mm-hmm. Which, yeah. So you might actually like her new album, Folklore, because it's nothing like her original stuff or like her stuff before this. It's totally different. So
well, we'll see.
Yeah. So if you want to give it a listen, give a few songs a listen, you might like it. But that's when I go to listen to music, I'm either listening to that or to Harry's album, Harry Styles, which is also another great album, by the way. But I know you're not a fan of Harry, but it's a great album. It's his second album, Fine Line, really good album. So that's really what I'm listening to, music-wise. And then, podcast-wise, I've actually been listening to, well, Office Ladies, which I already talked about, which is a good one. But there's this podcast that I found. I'm pulling it up right now because I forgot the name of it. Invisible Choir. So it's a podcast about kind of like Crime Junkie, like unsolved crimes or whatever. But yeah, it's actually really good. Invisible Choir is what it's called.
Yeah, I'm like looking through my phone right now, and it's like when it comes to music, I don't have anything recent at all. I have like, what is it? Some Billie Eilish, surprisingly.
I like
Incubus.
her. Yeah. Well,
Incubus,
we've loved Incubus forever.
Incubus.
Incubus.
Mike Shinoda.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Linkin Park. Oh yeah, Linkin Park is on here too. Breaking Benjamin. Yeah, I have not updated this.
Yeah, so like nothing new. I guess your newest one would be Billie Eilish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, your newest artist, I guess. So yeah, mine would be Taylor Swift, I guess. Her new album.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And like podcast, it's a bunch of unsolved and murder cases and French podcast.
Yeah.
I was attempting to learn French a while back. I know like little phrases and whatnot, and then I just
Can
stopped.
you say something for us?
No.
Not that good yet?
I just... No, we're good. No.
You're funny.
I mean, isn't it enough that I had to say the names of those...
of the Russian people?
Yes.
I know, it's
And
tough.
that was nerve-wracking in itself.
Our last question, Mary.
Why did you start this podcast?
Okay, so here's the deal with the podcast.
It wasn't actually not too long ago.
No, it was not, obviously. We started it, 2 months ago?
You were like, hey, I've been thinking. And I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And you're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
What else are we doing right now? We're not doing anything. Like, photo business is kind of like, no. And I need something else other than work. And you obviously school with your kids. And I'm just like, this is a good outlet because it would be of interest.
If you don't know by now, Mary and I are both very interested in mysteries and unknown and all the stuff that we talk about on the podcast. So one day we were talking on the phone and I forgot what we were talking about, but a podcast kind of topics came up. I think maybe I was telling Mary about a podcast that I liked, possibly. I don't remember. But anyway, I had been thinking about starting a podcast and I hadn't told anybody about it yet, but I was just thinking in my head like, oh, it'd be kind of cool to do a podcast because now that I have time because of COVID, I'm stuck in the house with my children. Anyway, it's just something that I've always thought about doing ever since I started listening to podcasts, probably a couple of years ago. And so yeah, Mary and I were just talking on the phone and it got brought up and I was like, well, I've actually thought about starting one, but I haven't really seriously actually thought of doing it. And then Mary's just like, let's do it. Like she just jumped on it and I was like, wait, really?
Which is surprising because I don't do this sort of thing.
No, she doesn't. I was shocked.
A friend of mine, she was surprised that I was doing it as well. She's like, that is not something you would... I mean, it's like out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I'm like way out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, it really is.
But It's cool.
It is. It's very cool. And, so she was like, let's do it. And I was like, what?
And then I was like searching up names. Like, okay, what can we do?
Yeah.
What should we name it?
And
you're like, wait, so we're doing this? We're really... I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah. She was so excited. It was crazy. I was like, where's Mary? And what did you do with her? But yeah, so we just, we ran with it. So we already knew the topic that we wanted to do. Which is what we're doing, obviously. But yeah, we just, we started thinking of names and the cases that we want to do and how we were going to do it because obviously I'm in Florida, she's in New Mexico, so we had to figure all of that stuff out. And, yeah.
And that was, like we were watching all these webinars.
Yeah.
And like taking notes, like vigorously, like what do we do? How do we do it?
Yeah, like...
It's so simple, you guys, on how to start a podcast, but listening to these things and looking it up makes it so much harder. And that process was a little bit overwhelming.
It was, yeah.
To where I was like, dude, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
But you were like, no, we can do this. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, as long as there's someone that knows and then has like that point of direction, okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, and it worked out. And here we are. I will say that we did get some new listeners. I don't know if you saw this yet. Hungary, Australia, Austria.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, new listeners.
I don't even know how to, like, I don't know how to follow up on, I don't have like a witty sort of thing that I normally say. I'm just
I
like,
don't
what?
know.
Like, how do people...
I don't know, but
Was
it's
this
cool.
a mistake that you found this podcast? I mean...
But even if it was, they listened.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's cool.
Yeah, very cool. So I just want to say welcome to all the new listeners. And to our regular listeners who have been listening, we definitely appreciate it. You know, we love that you guys love the podcast, that you've been listening. You know, if you like what you're hearing, we would love it if you could just give us a rating. But if you want to do something completely different, you can also send us a voice message, which I think is really cool. And I would love to get a voice message because that's just like different and unique. But I would love to hear our listeners' voices. But you have to do that through Anchor. So if you just go on our Anchor page, anchor.fm/Mystery Knox Podcast, there's a little button that says message. And if you click that, you can leave us a voice message. We might even put it in a future podcast.
Ooh, that would be cool. In fact,
Yep.
Listeners, do that. We'll include you on a future Q&A.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you want. Just let us know when you leave the message, if it's okay if we put it in the podcast. Also, on the same page, anchor.fm page, if you're feeling charitable, you can always donate to our podcast. On that same page, there's a button that says support. We will use that money towards new stuff for the podcast. We also want to get a merchandise line going on or a website. So stuff like that. Any support we get, we will put towards the podcast to make it better for you guys. So yeah, so that is it for the getting to know us, I guess, section. Hope you enjoyed it. And here come our outtakes. I hope you enjoy those. They're really funny. I might take out the really funny part. They're really funny. So yeah, outtakes are up next, guys. Enjoy it. I have a bomb in my briefcase. Quote. End quote. God damn it!
Oh, that was great. I'm glad I'm not the only one. See?
No, you're not.
See, this is what happens.
Oh
You
my
were laughing
God.
at me. Karma.
I know. Alright, I'm gonna do it again. Oh my God! What is wrong with me today? God.
God, I almost spit my drink out on the computer.
If any children are listening to this... Oh, that's what I could say. By the way, if any children are listening to this, or anybody that smokes now, smoking kills.
No, just no.
Or no? No. Okay. I'll just go back. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
That could totally be in the outtake.
This is totally
though.
your squirrel moment.
Oh my God. Where does it say the name? Well, Pooper Scooper.
Pooper scoop.
Pooper Scooper. Well, Pooper Scooper. Shush. Shush you.
Squirrel.
Smoking kills kids.
Smoking kills kids.
What? Oh boy. Squirrel.
And I'm Mary.
God.
That's what you should use.
And I'm Mary.
And I'm Mary. No, that's...
Alright, I gotta do the story. Okay.
And I'm Mary. Okay. Mary's not hearing me.
You shush you. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Go. Oh yeah, but seriously, kangaroos. Oh yeah, what did I say?
I don't remember.
I don't either.
I have the attention span of a goldfish, okay?
Me too. Me too. You know.
Okay.
You know. Okay. It has also been stated. Okay. Let me do that again. No.
It has also.
Also been stated.
Has it now?
Okay.
Yes.
Oh jeez.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm okay.
3, 2, 1. Here's a letter to the editor. Oh my God! Now you got me. I want to say etata.
Here's a letter
To the editor. Okay.
Exeter. Well, how do you say it? Exeter?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exeter.
Okay.
All right. Sip of water. And here we go. 3, 2, 1. Here's a letter to the editor. Oh my god. It's like, okay.
I'm telling you, if we used my creepy voice, this would be settled.
Letter
to the editor.
I will get this.
You should read the letter with an accent. Sir,
I-
Thursday night,
I don't
the
think
8th
so.
of February.
I don't think so. Okay.
We'd get more viewers and listeners.
God.
Well,
What?
listeners than... Okay, sorry.
Oh god, what's our timestamp here? 19? Okay, no, 20. Okay, let me put 20.
But stamp.
Wait, why? Mary, you shush. Okay. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Shush. Oh my god.
But stamp.
Just get all your giggles out. Rumor had it that kangaroos had escaped from a menagerie. Oh, wait. Is that how you say it?
Menagerie or menagerie?
I don't know. Oh, I think it's menagerie. Pretty sure it's menagerie.
Should we look it up? Either way, it
Yeah.
seems dirty.
I know, doesn't it?
Menagerie.
It sounds like, ooh.
It's like where you go buy, like, under things.
Right? Exactly.
It's like, where did you get
I think
that?
it's
At the
menagerie.
menagerie.
Do you want me to look it
Oh,
up?
I just did. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
What? Menagerie.
Okay.
Learn to pronounce. Oh, that sounds insulting.
Menagerie. Okay.
Menagerie.
Got it. For weeks, people refused. I went, weeks?
It's too, like, up.
Yeah.
For
I heard
weeks. We just get so...
I know, we get so like...
Menagerie. Oh, we passed that. Sorry.
Oh, boy. Okay. 1, 2,
2,
shh,
3,
3.
and go. Oh.
You shush. I'll do it.
It's like that Shania Twain song. Let's go, girl. Okay, sorry. Menage.
Hey. Oh, now you got me started.
What is going on? We lost the show. 13 minutes in.
I'm going out tonight. I'm feeling alright. Okay. So, okay. Podcast voice, people. Let's get our podcast faces on, Mary. We need our podcast face on.
Faces or voices?
I don't know.
I just did.
Oh, God. Stop making me laugh. Oh.
I just did.
Oh my god. Okay.
Thanks for listening to our little podcast. Feel free to leave a comment or follow us on Instagram at Mystery Knox Podcast.
Mischief managed.